Hello and welcome to this TeamSoft tutorial. And this particular tutorial will be on the financials section, and we're going to take a close look at the chart of accounts. And when we're looking at the chart of accounts, these are some of the areas that we will be looking at. We will take a look at where the chart of accounts is located within Business One. Take a look at how it is divided up into drawers, and then we'll take a look at some of the key features such as the external codes, control accounts, and so on. So let's dive straight in. So when we log into SAP Business One, we have the option of typing in chart of accounts up here to take a look for it in our lookup menus. And when we do that, it'll tell us that we can get to the chart of accounts by going to the main menu, financials and chart of accounts. Or we can go to edit chart of accounts via the same tree, the main menu, financials and chart of accounts, or the administration setup and chart of accounts. So we're going to take a look at the chart of accounts here. And when we go in here, we can see over here on the right hand side, we have a number of drawers. And the first 3 drawers are reserved for balance sheet accounts. And then we have the next 5 are reserved as profit and loss accounts. And we have 2 spares that we can apply different uses that might be particular to your own business should you wish to use them. So currently we're in the asset drawer, and we can tell that because assets is written here on the top. If we go to the liabilities drawer, it changes to liabilities. Within our liabilities drawer, we have a number of other title accounts. So the liabilities drawer itself is a title account. And when I click on it, we can see that it's marked as being a title account. And when we click on the current liabilities, that's another title account. So it's like the drawer in that this current liabilities is a drawer within that liabilities section. And within it, we have further title accounts. And clicking on any one of these tells us that these are all title accounts down until we get to these black text accounts. And now we can see that it is an active account. So we can't post anything to these outer accounts. We can only post directly to the active accounts. Now, in some of these, we will see that our active accounts are in green text as opposed to black text. And what that means is we have some GL account determination rules set against these accounts. Now, if we go down the left-hand side here, so the first thing is the GL account code. And if you're using a new system of chart of accounts with Business One, then this will be the new code, and you may not be bringing over your legacy code. If you are, your legacy code is what goes in here. Then we have our GL account name, and this particular one is bank loans due at less than 1 year. And then within that, we have our external code. So as I say, if you're bringing over your legacy accounts, you can put in that legacy code in here. For some businesses, what they might like to do is if they're reporting to a parent company in a different set of accounts, the parent company might like to have their GL code in here to make reporting easier. Then with all of the accounts, we have the option of setting the currency on them. So they can be set as all currencies or at an individual chosen currency. Business One is fully multi-currency compliant and is very capable of catering for this. The next option we have here then is the confidential option. And with the confidential option, we can set an account as being confidential. So for example, your payroll account, you may not wish for everybody to see it. We go into administration, then we go into system initialization, and then we go into authorizations and general authorizations. Now you must be a super user to do this. You won't be allowed to do this unless you are. And you can pick a user who is not a super user, because a super user has access to all areas by default. And in here then we go to general and we go to access to confidential accounts. So I can say that Christine has no authorization to view any confidential accounts in here. Now, if we go back to our assets and we go to our debtors accounts, trade debtors domestic account, we can see here that there is a balance against this particular account, and the balance is 13,500. And there's a little golden arrow which when we hover over it, it tells us we can link to that balance. So we can click on that golden arrow and it will open up the accounts for us. And in here we can see the list of all of the unreconciled transactions that are associated with this account. We can filter this account by the posting date range. We can choose the number of transactions that we want to have displayed, and we can choose to view the reconciled accounts as well if we wish. And also within this field we can double click on any of these golden arrows to go to have a look at the transaction itself. So that's the journal entry here that's associated with this particular transaction, and there was 950 debited to that debtor's account, and the 177 went to the VAT payable and the 772 went to the sales revenue account. We can also take a look at the original document, and here we can see the AR invoice that kicked off that GL posting, and we can take a look at the offset account if we wish. So you can drill down and get a great deal of detail here, and this can be used quite a lot for your bank accounts. It's a good way of checking the balances on your accounts and reviewing the history. The next thing we can do is we can set an account as a control account. So our control accounts allows you to set control over the type of transactions that can be posted to that account. It summarizes the details for the general ledger, and it usually applies to sales or your purchasing accounts, and it can apply to your stock account, and it's used for the validation of records. The next thing that we can take a look at is we can set an account as a cash account, and frequently our bank accounts are set as cash accounts. These are used for incoming and outgoing payments, and there are generally four means of payments, so it might be the check or a transfer by cash or by credit card. Then we have the option of blocking manual postings, which does exactly what it says. The postings are automatically determined by our rules. And then we can set an account as being cash flow relevant if we wish, or we can set it as being a project related account. So we can assign it to a project that would be a financial project that would allow us to group our reporting on that project alone. The other thing that we can do is we can take a look at the account details down here by using this button. And in here we can see that, again, this is the GL account. It's the same information as we have here, the code and the account name and the foreign name had there been one. But the thing that we're interested in particular here is that we can make the account inactive. So if you're setting up a GL account that is only to be active for a period of time, then you can change it to being inactive here. Furthermore, if you have seasonal accounts, for example, a Christmas sales account that you don't want to be posting to between, for example, March and September, then you can set a date range here for that, and you can put in a remark associated with the reason why it's inactive for that period. Or alternatively, you can make it active for that period. The next thing we're going to look at then is how to set up a new account. So we can set up a new account by going to Edit Chart of Accounts and Assets. We pick the drawer that we're going to set up the account in here by doing that. And I'm going to look for the Petty Cash account here. And here we go, we have a Petty Cash account, but I want to set up another Petty Cash account within this. So that might be our Petty Cash Euro account. So we can change the name on that to Petty Cash Euro and update. And then we can add another same level account, or if we were in the title account we could add a sub-level account, and they would both achieve the same thing. So we'll add a sub-level account here, and we're going to call this one 16000. Let's go for 10, jump up a code, and then we're going to give it the name of Petty Cash STG. It's in the assets drawer and we're happy with that, but if we wanted to move an account from one drawer to another, if we set it up in the wrong place, we can do that here. The parent account is this 153001, and that's this one here, and we want to locate it in the drawer after this one, and that's correct. So we're going to update that, and we can see that we have our new account created, and it really is as simple as that to create a new account. Now the next thing I want to do is take a look at the determination rules. And as with the chart of accounts, if you're unsure where to find them, if you start typing the word determination, you'll find a few options here. To set that up, you go to Admin, Setup, Financials, and GL Account Determination, or you can just double click on it here. So we go to Admin, Setup, Financials, GL Account Determination, and GL Account Determination, and that will open this window as well. Now in here we have 7 tabs across the top. And if we start on the right hand side, we have nothing set up in our work in progress mapping, and in our resources we just have a cost account set up there to be posted against the cost of goods sold. In our inventory we have quite a few determination rules set up. We're saying that any inventory account is to go to this GL account code, and that's called the stock account. The cost of goods sold are to go to this account code, and that's called the cost of goods sold, and so on. You can read down through them there yourself. We also have a number of rules, and these are advanced rules that are set against the stock. And to set up an advanced rule, we go over here and we can click on the advanced rule button here. And there's 2 rules set up in this particular one, and one is called R1. And it's set by item group materials, it's set by item code for all items, and it's set by warehouse for all warehouses. So that tells us that we can set the rules by item, item group, and by warehouse. And we can set a date range for which the rules are to apply again, and we can choose which accounts they are going to post to, and we can set all the different accounts across the way. So there's a work in progress inventory variance rule there. And that's all that's set for this particular one. I'm not going to go into this in very much detail here because it's quite specialized, but for the moment we're happy to know that it is possible to set up more advanced rules than the ones that are set here. Back here, these tabs are much the same, but the purchasing and the sales tabs are slightly different in that we also have the option to put in a tax information. In this particular system, there is a tax rule saying that all of our item type documents are going at 23% by default, and all of our service type documents are going at 13.5%. So you can see that the 13.5% rate is set here for that. And any down payment on the tax offset account is going to this particular GL account code, VAT Suspense Advanced Customer Payments account. And the same applies with our purchasing tab. We have some VAT rules here for that, and we have the usual general accounts. Everything that we had intended to look at on this particular tutorial. And if we take a look here, we can see that we had a look at the module location. So we saw that you can find where your chart of accounts is by using the search bar, or by going straight into the finances module and the chart of accounts, or the edit chart of accounts. We saw that there are up to 10 drawers available to us, and that by default the top 3 drawers are our balance sheet accounts, and the next 5 drawers are our profit and loss accounts. We saw that there is the option of applying external codes. So those external codes could be for reporting purposes. Then we have the option of making an account, assigning an account as being a control account. And that is usually our accounts receivable accounts, our accounts payable, and our stock accounts. And we have the option also of assigning accounts as cash accounts. Now, the one thing I didn't mention about the cash accounts is that these can only be done in the first 2 drawers, so in the assets or the liabilities drawers. And we can state whether a GL account is cash flow relevant or not. We can assign it to a financial project, and we can set up our determination rules and our currency. We can set it as being all currency because we know that SAP Business One is fully multi-currency compliant, or we can choose particular currencies for particular accounts. So a good example there would be if you have a sterling bank account, you're going to set it as a sterling currency, or if you have a US dollar account, you will set it obviously as being a US dollar currency. And we had a quick look at how easy it is really to set up a new GL account in SAP Business One. So I think that covers everything as far as our chart of accounts are concerned. And we'd like to say thank you very much for listening to this video.